But in the finish, we did have a little bit that probably, I don't know whether North could have got back from that position, but certainly one free kick that was missed was vital at that stage, and that could have had a dramatic effect on the end result. I think that would be true.
David, you know, you've had some pretty tight finish, or you've put up some great performances in the last quarter in recent weeks. Would you like to lose the game to take a bit of pressure off yourself and the players? Because you are the targets. I don't
want to lose any, Lou, but you just can't afford to. We're hanging on to top spot. We've often said how important top place is, and once we've got it, we've got to maintain it, and that's going to be one hell of a job to do. We've had, you know, Richmond, North and Essendon in 3 weeks, and that's a fair task for any side, good, bad or indifferent, and we've still got Essendon at Windy Hill next week, which will be the biggest challenge that we've faced. To go in with a loss, I suppose, is good in one sense, I suppose, but to have reasonable form. And the previous week, Lou, we did it on our merit, I thought, really well against Richmond. We played superb football in the finish to win, but yesterday we just struggled, you know, from about half-time on. I thought we made a real struggle of it and just gradually clawed our way back and sort of pinched the game at the finish.
Barry, so close, but yet so far. Where did you go wrong?
Well, we possibly didn't finish off our opportunities that we had particularly early. I thought that, you know, we're well and truly on top, and for most of the day as it ended up, but you know, we just never capitalised, particularly at shooting for goal that we should have done. I believe that had we have done that, well, you know, I don't think they would have caught us. Now
that controversial decision, well, it wasn't a decision actually, that was the trip to Tanner. How did you react to that? And what's your reaction now? You cooled down a little bit.
Well, I'm like David, you know, they measured themselves out, but the fact that it happened, yes, it happened at this time of the game, and the game was such a great game that it was a pity that he had to massacre the game by, for whatever the reason, not seeing that. And I also think following up the other one too, I think that was very doubtful too. But, you know, that's the way it goes, and so you just got to win those. And
you're not cross about it at all?
No, the only thing is, I saw Peter in here this morning and he seemed pretty, you know, happy with himself and about the decision. I only hope that, you know, he certainly looks at himself more seriously than that, because, you know, it was one of those decisions I felt at the time that, you know, could be disastrous. And I'd hate to see it happen in a grand final.
David, how did you react to the decision? Well, you must have a reaction after the game. You've possibly talked to Wes Lofts and said, by golly, we were lucky to get away with that.
Yeah, but your own players, I said something along similar lines to our players, that you'd be thankful that those things happen for us occasionally to allow you to win games. But, you know, in the same instant, 2 of our players claimed touched balls on the line, another one that hit the post on the way through. There were 3 shots that North had that were either touched or hit the post. And I've never had Carlton players say that to me before. So, you know, the luck, I'm saying it over again, the luck does really even itself out, and I agree with Barry that it happened at a crucial point of the game, and it really, I guess those do have a real influence over the end result, and that's from a, you know, we're pleased to not receive it, and Barry would be disappointed, I think, in the same circumstances.
Barry, what did you think of Carlton? Are they invincible?
Oh, no.
And if you do happen to make the 5, could you beat them, and why?
Well, they're certainly not invincible, but they're a very good side, and you know, it's obvious the reason why they're on top of the premiership table, because they're certainly the best side in the competition at this point of time. And but I, you know, I'd be always confident of doing very well against them.
You're not divulging any plans how you'll beat them next time?
Oh no, well, we've certainly got to straighten up on a few things after yesterday's performance. But you know, I think yesterday proved without question that from us as a playing point of view, you know, we're good enough to beat Carlton. But we just weren't good enough yesterday, so, you know, we just got to wait till next time now.
Well, David, how do you rate North Melbourne?
Oh, player personnel-wise, Lou, they're as good as anybody else in the competition when you set their side down on paper, and I think Barry did his homework very well. His pre-match planning and placement of players really caught us on the hop, and they got off to an enormous start, aggressively and with terrific football skill. And we were, you know, it was going to take a real good side, I think, from that point to get back in against North Melbourne. And we at no times played well, Lou. We had no time put a quarter together like we put against Richmond or other sides. So in those circumstances, I suppose from a coaching point of view, you've got to be pleased.
David, how do you keep on getting them up all the time to keep them that keen? That must be a tough job.
Well, that was one of our problems yesterday, Lou. We were certainly well beaten in the first half with desire and approach. And our attitude didn't nearly match what it did the week before, which has got to be a result of having to come up so often against good sides. Now we've got the third round which is Essendon, and to come up again, Lou, in those circumstances is going to really test us out.
Thanks, David, and thanks, Barry.
With David and Barry, we've got the White Grove tomato sauce. We also have the Mayfair ham, the festive ham.
It's a nice ham.
It's beautiful ham. It's something glorious.